The morning began like any other day on Earth. People went to work, children walked to school, and the sky above was clear and calm. No one knew that everything was about to change, not slowly, not gently, but all at once. It started with a sound that no one could describe. It was not thunder. It was not an explosion. It was something deeper, like the sky itself was crying out in pain. A farmer in Texas was the first to see it. He looked up and dropped the tools in his hands. A long line of white fire was cutting across the sky, stretching from one horizon to the other. At the same time, people on the other side of the world saw the same thing. A line of burning light, splitting open the blue sky like a giant scar. Phones came out, cameras turned on, news channels switched to emergency mode. Something impossible was happening. Then the sky broke. Not cracked. Not burned. It opened. A massive dark hole appeared above the earth, shaped like a slowly turning storm cloud, but too perfect, too round, too clean. Energy swirled inside it, glowing blue, purple, white. Every person who saw it felt fear rise inside them. Humans were not meant to see something like this. It was like watching a wound open in space. From inside the hole, lights appeared, strange, cold, metallic lights. At first people thought it might be meteors. But they were too smooth, too controlled. They moved in slow, perfect lines, forming a giant pattern across the sky. Some were shaped like long ships. Some were round like floating cities. Every one of them was alien. Earth prepared for war. Missile systems came online. Fighter jets rose into the air. Governments shouted orders. Scientists screamed warnings. But before anyone could attack, the alien ships did something unexpected. They opened their lower doors. Millions of small, silver objects began falling toward Earth like rain. People ran, screaming, thinking it was a weapon. They expected explosions. They expected death. But the objects slowed down as they fell. They spread out across every country. Every city. Every ocean. Every desert. They landed softly, without sound, like snowflakes touching the ground. A soldier in Japan approached one of them, a strange capsule with black glass and silver metal. It hissed softly, and then it opened. Every camera in the world pointed at it. Every person held their breath. Inside was a creature. Not a monster. Not a soldier. A child. Its skin was pale blue, its eyes dark and wide with fear. It looked weak, starving, trembling. The soldier stepped back, confused. Why would an alien empire send something like this? All around the world, the same thing happened. Capsules opened. More creatures stepped out, millions of them. They were thin, shaking, sick. Families. Elders. Children. Refugees. Then a message appeared. Not from a human leader. Not from Earth. It was transmitted to every screen, every device, every radio on the planet. The voice was cold, emotionless, and full of authority. No face appeared, only a symbol of a burning crown. People of Earth, the voice said. These 6 million beings are criminals of our empire. They refused our rule. They are weak, unwanted, and worthless. As punishment, they are now your burden. We send them to your planet because your kind is known for violence and cruelty. Their suffering will end quickly in your hands. The message ended. Silence spread across Earth. Governments panicked. Military forces surrounded the landing sites. News reporters shouted over each other. People locked their doors and warned others to stay away. No one knew what these creatures were. No one knew if they were dangerous. No one knew if this was a trap. But something unexpected happened. Near a small town in Canada, a little human girl named Emma saw one of the alien children crying beside a broken capsule. Soldiers yelled for her to stay back, but she didn't listen. She walked toward the creature slowly, her small boots crunching in the snow. The alien child looked up with terrified eyes, expecting to be hurt. Emma held out a granola bar. "Here," she said softly. "You look hungry." The alien stared at the food, confused, then took it with shaking hands. Tears filled its eyes. Soldiers watched, stunned. Cameras zoomed in. Millions of people saw the moment on live television. Across the world, humans watched a simple act of kindness, a moment no one expected. Then something even stranger happened. The alien child lifted its hand shakily and touched Emma's fingers. A faint glow passed between them, like blue light reflecting in water. The child spoke a single word in a soft, broken voice. "Safe." A shock went through the crowd. People felt something shift inside their hearts. These were not enemies. These were not monsters. These were beings who had been thrown away like trash. The Empire expected humans to destroy them. Instead, humanity faced a choice. Fear, or compassion. The first spark of humanity's answer began in that quiet snowy field, with a frightened alien child and a brave little girl. But far above Earth, hidden inside the broken sky, the alien empire watched, and they did not like what they saw. The story of Earth was about to change forever. For hours after the sky broke, Earth was frozen in fear. Sirens echoed through cities, soldiers blocked roads, and drones circled the skies watching every alien capsule. People stayed in their homes, watching the news non-stop. Everyone asked the same question. What are these creatures? Why did the Empire send them here? No answers came. But the refugees, weak, shaking, starving, were everywhere. Parks, beaches, fields, city streets. They sat beside their silver capsules, confused and exhausted, like animals pushed out of a burning forest. Doctors were the first to disobey orders. One medic named Dr. Harris stepped past a military line and knelt beside an alien lying in the dirt. It looked like an adult, but its thin arms and sunken eyes made it seem much older. Its breathing was slow, almost silent. Dr. Harris touched its wrist and froze. "This one is dying," he whispered. A soldier shouted, "Step away. We don't know if it's dangerous." The alien opened its eyes halfway and whispered something. The translator on Dr. Harris's suit lit up and produced a soft voice. "Please, we mean no harm." The soldier's voice broke for a moment. He lowered his gun. And that was the moment the fear began to crack. Across the world, more doctors, nurses, and volunteers ran to help the refugees. They offered food, blankets, and water. They carried the weakest ones on stretchers. Many aliens cried when humans touched them gently. They were not used to kindness. One alien child, shivering in the cold, looked up at a woman who wrapped a scarf around its neck. "Why, help?" it asked. The woman smiled. "Because you need it. That's enough." But as humans helped, they noticed something strange. When sunlight touched the alien skin, faint symbols glowed on their bodies, thin lines forming circles and squares, like scars burned into their flesh. Scientists rushed in to study the markings. A biologist named Dr. Liu leaned closer and whispered. "These are not natural, someone carved this onto them." A refugee heard her and shook with fear. "No," he said softly. "Not carved. Burned." That one word made everyone go silent. Burned. The refugees began speaking more, slowly, with heavy fear in their voices. They said they were not criminals. They were not soldiers. They were workers, teachers, farmers, children. Their empire demanded they join a brutal war. When they refused, they were branded like animals and thrown into prison camps. "But why send you to Earth?" Dr. Harris asked. A refugee elder looked up with sad eyes. They told us humans destroy anything different. They said you would kill us the moment we arrived. The soldiers nearby exchanged shocked glances. The Empire expected humanity to be monsters. Instead, humans were offering blankets and first aid. But then something even stranger happened. As the refugees calmed down, their bodies began reacting to Earth's environment in unexpected ways. Some symbols on their skin glowed brighter in clean air. Some refugees began breathing easier, as if Earth's atmosphere was better for them than their own world. A scientist in Germany shouted when she saw blood samples under a microscope. "These people are poisoned," she said. "Their bodies are filled with chemicals, long-term chemicals." Another doctor added, "They've been suffering for years." It became clear, the Empire did not send them to Earth for punishment. The Empire sent them here to die quietly. But Earth refused to let that happen. Still, not everything was peaceful. Strange energy spikes appeared around some capsules. A group of capsules lit up with blue light, almost like beacons. Humans feared they might explode. A military drone approached one of them, and the capsule suddenly projected a hologram into the sky. Everyone stopped and stared. It showed a huge alien symbol, the same burning crown from the Empire's message. Then words appeared in the sky. "Earth is weak. Earth is foolish. 6 million burdens now belong to you. Destroy them or be destroyed." It repeated again and again. A child refugee screamed when he saw the symbol and ran to hide behind a human soldier's leg. The soldier panicked at first, then placed a gentle hand on the child's head. "It's okay," he whispered. "We won't hurt you." Reporters captured the moment on live television. Millions of people felt the same warm fear in their chest. The refugees were terrified. And if they were scared, what kind of empire were they running from? That night, a strange event shook the world again. In a refugee camp in India, a group of aliens suddenly collapsed. Their symbols glowed bright red, pulsing like alarms. Doctors rushed in, but the refugees screamed, clutching their heads. "Make it stop! Make it stop!" "What's happening?" a doctor shouted. An alien elder whispered the answer. "The Empire can still control the brands, even from far away." Humans stared in horror. The Empire was hurting the refugees, from across the galaxy. And if they could send pain across such a distance, then they could send something else too. A warning. A message. Or an attack. The sky above Earth flickered with faint blue light for a moment, like something was watching. Humanity did not know it yet. But the Empire was already preparing its next move. Earth had shown kindness. And kindness, to the Empire, was an unforgivable act of rebellion. By the second night, every refugee camp on Earth was full of confusion, fear, and questions. Humans worked non-stop, giving food, blankets, and medical help. Refugee children finally slept without screaming. But every adult alien kept looking at the sky, trembling as if they expected something terrible to happen. No one knew what they were so afraid of. But Earth was about to find out. In a temporary shelter in Brazil, a translator device beeped. An alien elder, thin, gray-skinned, with glowing marks, tried to speak. His voice shook with every word. "Humans, you must not help us." A doctor leaned closer. "Why not? You need help." The elder closed his eyes. "Because if you help us, you become enemies of the Empire." Those words hit the whole room like a punch. Before the doctor could reply, a young alien girl nearby suddenly screamed. Her symbols turned bright red, burning like fire. She fell to the ground, crying in pain. More refugees collapsed around her, dozens of symbols glowed red at the same time. It looked like their bodies were being punished. "Someone do something," a nurse yelled. "We're trying," a doctor shouted, but nothing worked. The pain wouldn't stop. Finally, the elder whispered, they they know you helped us. The doctors froze. The Empire? One asked. The elder nodded weakly. The brands, they are not just marks. They are signals. They watch us. They hurt us. They can kill us. A reporter in the room lowered his camera, horrified. Your own empire tortures you, from across the galaxy. The elder's eyes filled with tears. We were their slaves. Their soldiers. Their tools. When we refused to fight their war, they called us traitors. A soldier nearby clenched his fists. He had served in real wars. But this was different. This was cruelty without purpose. Why didn't you fight back? He asked. The elder looked at him with sad eyes. Fight? Humans do not understand. Your people have freedom. Your people have a voice. We never had that. He touched the glowing brand on his arm. This symbol means we belong to them. Even now, they still own us. The doctor felt something cold inside his chest. But you escaped. You came here. No, the elder said. We did not escape. They sent us here, because they believed Earth would destroy us. A silence fell across the room. And then the elder said something that made everyone stop breathing. And if Earth does not destroy us, the Empire will destroy Earth. Across the world, similar conversations happened. Refugees finally began speaking the truth. Not all at once, but slowly, like broken pieces of a terrible story. In a camp in Kenya, a teenage alien named Rello told a group of human volunteers how it began. His voice was soft, shaking. Our empire wanted power. More planets. More control. They wanted us to fight. But we refused. Why did you refuse? A volunteer asked. Rello swallowed hard. Because the war was not against soldiers. It was against worlds that never attacked us. They wanted us to destroy families. Children. Cities. We could not do that. The volunteers looked at him with shock. Rello continued, tears falling from his eyes. So they punished us. They burned us with the mark of shame. They starved us. They kept us in cold cages. Then one day, they opened the cages and said we were being sent to a harsh and violent world. They meant Earth. Why Earth? One human asked. Because your species has a history of war. They said humans kill strangers. They said humans destroy the weak. They said Earth was the perfect place to throw us away. Another alien nearby whispered, we thought we would die the moment we landed. And what do you think now? A human volunteer asked gently. Rello looked at her with wide, emotional eyes. You gave me a blanket. The volunteer felt tears in her own eyes. Meanwhile, deep inside a secret laboratory in Switzerland, a team of scientists worked day and night studying the glowing brands. Every time a refugee spoke about the Empire, the symbols flickered. Every time humans helped them, the symbols glowed red with pain. Then at midnight, something terrifying happened. The brands on every refugee body around the world suddenly lit up at once, bright, sharp, blazing red. Refugees screamed. Doctors ran. Lights flickered. Machines exploded. A scientist shouted, something is activating the brands. Someone is sending a signal. The entire planet felt it. The Empire was watching. And then humanity saw the real message. Satellites detected a massive energy surge near the broken sky. A ripple in space. Something big forcing its way through. A giant ship. No, not a ship. A war fortress, larger than any human city. It was entering the same breach the refugees came through. Inside a refugee camp in Australia, a terrified alien child pointed at the sky and whispered. They are coming, the hunters. A human soldier knelt beside him. Who are the hunters? The child trembled. They are sent to erase mistakes, and we are the mistake. And what about us? The soldier asked. The child looked at him with tearful eyes. You helped us. That makes you targets too. The soldier stood slowly and stared at the glowing sky. The truth humans never wanted to know was now clear. The Empire didn't just send refugees. They sent a warning. And now, the real punishment was coming. The sky over Earth was no longer calm. Every few minutes, blue light flashed above the clouds, spreading like ripples in water. It was the same breach that brought the refugees, but now it pulsed harder, brighter, as if something huge was forcing its way through. Around the world, people stared upward with fear. Scientists shouted warnings. Military bases went into full lockdown. Fighter jets lined up across runways, ready for a war no human had ever imagined. But the refugees knew exactly what was coming. In a shelter in France, a young alien woman named Sarah trembled beside a human nurse. Her voice was low, broken. They sent the hunters. I never thought they would come this far. The nurse asked, Who are the hunters? Sarah looked at her with hollow eyes. They do not negotiate. They do not talk. They erase anything that disobeys the Empire. They erase planets. The nurse felt ice in her blood. At that same moment, satellites confirmed something terrifying. A gigantic war fortress, dark, sharp, shaped like a floating mountain, was tearing its way through the sky breach. Energy storms exploded around it. Smaller ships swarmed like insects around a giant beast. Earth had never seen anything like it. Inside the United Nations war room, leaders from every country stared at the screens. No one spoke at first. Then the American general broke the silence. If they fire first, we won't survive. A scientist shook her head. No, they're not coming to destroy Earth's cities. Then what do they want? The general demanded. The scientist swallowed. They want the refugees. Silence filled the room again, heavy and cold. A voice from the British commander spoke next, shocked. They expect us to hand over 6 million innocent people. The scientist nodded. And if we don't, they will make sure Earth pays the price. Around the world, humans stood in front of refugee camps. Ordinary people, teachers, mechanics, farmers, students, formed human shields around the aliens. They held signs that said, We choose compassion, and, These are people, not cargo. Soldiers joined them. Police joined them. Doctors joined them. The Empire expected humans to be cruel. They expected humans to kill the refugees. But instead, humanity stood around the refugees like a wall of courage. The first message from the Empire fortress reached Earth at midnight. A deep, thunder-like voice echoed through every device, every speaker, every phone. Humans. Surrender the prisoners. If you do not comply, your planet will burn. The message repeated 3 times. Refugees screamed and hid behind humans. A frightened alien child clung to a human soldier's leg. They will kill us, please, please. The soldier knelt. He looked the child in the eyes and said one sentence that spread hope across Earth. We don't surrender people. Ever. Those words spread across the internet like fire. Billions heard them. Billions repeated them. We don't surrender people. But the Empire didn't care. The fortress released a warning shot, a beam of silent white energy that cut through an empty piece of ocean. The water boiled. A hole miles wide formed instantly. Everyone understood the message. The next shot would not miss. In Australia, a group of aliens tried to surrender themselves to protect humans. They walked toward soldiers with their hands raised, crying. We will go, one of them said. We will not let your planet fall because of us. But the human commander stepped in front of them. No one is handing anyone over, he said. Not today. Not ever. A refugee elder shook his head. Why would you risk your lives for strangers? The commander said, because if we let a bully hurt innocent people once, they will keep doing it forever. The refugees looked at the humans with disbelief. Their eyes filled with tears. In their own empire, mercy was weakness. On Earth, mercy was strength. Above the planet, the fortress charged its main weapon again. Blue lightning circled around its giant cannon. Smaller ships moved into attack positions. Inside NASA's headquarters, scientists shouted readings from screens. They're drawing power, massive amounts. Impact will destroy everything within 50 miles. We need a miracle. But Earth did not have advanced alien weapons. Earth did not have giant starships. Earth only had courage. And courage was sometimes enough. A refugee scientist named Valor stepped forward with shaking hands. He connected his old wrist device to a human console. Alarmed soldiers tried to stop him, but Dr. Harris shouted. Let him work. Valor's hands moved fast, entering codes no human had ever seen. His voice cracked as he explained. I used to build the Empire's weapons. I know how they aim. I know how they lock targets. Dr. Harris stared. Can you stop them? No, Valor said. But I can delay them. He pressed one final code. In space, a massive ripple spread from the fortress cannon. The charging beam suddenly flickered. The light pulsed unevenly. Inside the fortress, the hunters shouted commands in their own language. Something was wrong. Valor fell to his knees. I jammed their targeting system, he whispered. You have a few minutes. Humans rushed around him, helping him stand. Can we use those minutes? A soldier asked. Dr. Harris looked at the sky. We have to. All around the world, humans and refugees stood side by side, staring at the massive fortress. Fear filled their hearts. But something stronger filled them. Unity. The Empire came expecting fear. But they found a planet ready to fight for the innocent. A planet refusing to bow. A planet that believed compassion was stronger than cruelty. What happened next would shake the entire galaxy. Because Earth was not done fighting back. And neither were the refugees. The Empire's war fortress hung above Earth like a dark moon. Its metal skin glowed with violent blue light. Its weapon, large enough to erase a city, flickered as Valor's code slowed its charge. But everyone on Earth knew the truth. The delay would not last. Inside refugee camps, the aliens held each other close. They whispered prayers in soft voices. Some closed their eyes, expecting death. Others stared at the sky with fear and guilt. It is our fault, one alien elder cried. We brought the hunters here. A young human woman knelt beside him. No, she said softly. They came because they are bullies. And bullies always hate kindness. The elder lifted his trembling hands. You protect us, even now. We protect people, she answered. And you are people. Those words spread across the camp. Refugees repeated them, feeling hope for the first time in years. But hope alone would not stop a cannon the size of a mountain. At the same time, in a military base in Norway, commanders watched the fortress weapon pulse brighter, stronger. A lieutenant shouted, Sir, the fortress has broken through Valor's code, targeting systems back online. How long do we have? The general asked. Seconds, maybe less. The general stared at the giant screen. He clenched his jaw. Then Earth stands its ground. No retreat. He pressed a button. His voice echoed across all human channels. All units. All nations. Prepare to defend the refugees at any cost. In the refugee camp in India, a boy named Rello watched humans form shields around them, real shields made of human bodies. Farmers stood in front. Teachers stood next. Soldiers stood last, ready to face whatever came. Rello whispered, "Why would humans die for us?" A soldier beside him smiled sadly. "We don't fight because we hate. We fight because we love." Rello felt a strange warmth in his chest. His glowing brand, normally a symbol of pain, dimmed slightly, almost like it was losing power. Something was changing. Not in the Empire. Not in the refugees. In the galaxy itself. Inside the war fortress, hunters stood at control panels. One of them hit a switch. "Target locked," he growled. Blue light filled the cannon. The fortress doors opened wide, pointing the weapon toward Earth. In those final seconds, Earth became silent. Cities stopped moving. People stopped breathing. Then a sound broke the stillness. A voice. Soft at first. Growing louder. A broadcast echoing across frequencies. Across satellites. Across the entire sky. It came from the refugee camps. From an alien child. Emma, the human girl from the very first day, held the translator device close to her mouth. The alien child she saved stood beside her, holding her hand. Together, their voices filled the world. "We are not enemies. We are not monsters. We are people who want to live. And humans, choose to save us." The fortress cannon flickered. The hunters frowned. Another voice joined the broadcast, "Veilers. This is a message to the whole galaxy. The Empire lied. Humans are not violent creatures. Humans protected us. They showed us mercy. They showed us strength without cruelty." Then another refugee spoke. Then another. Then thousands. Millions. Their voices formed a single giant wave of truth. "We were cast away. We were punished. But Earth gave us hope." Billions of humans watched, speechless. Tears filled the eyes of soldiers and children alike. The galaxy heard something it had never heard before. Refugees calling Earth their home. The hunters panicked. The fortress cannon flickered again, glitching, shaking. "What is happening?" the commander roared. A frightened hunter technician turned. "Sir, civilian communication lines across the Empire are reacting, people are hearing the broadcast." "Shut it down. We cannot. The signal is everywhere." Across the galaxy, on distant worlds, oppressed alien workers and slaves heard the refugees' voices. They heard about Earth, about humans who stood up for strangers. They felt something rise inside their hearts. Hope. Rebellion. Freedom. Riots erupted across Empire-controlled planets. Communications flooded with messages. Why do humans protect their weak? Why do humans protect strangers? Why does the Empire not? The Empire's control was cracking. And with it, the fortress cannon cracked too. It began overloading. Lights flashed red. Alarms screamed. A hunter shouted, "Sir, if we fire now, the cannon will explode." "Then fire," the commander yelled. "Destroy Earth before rebellion spreads." But he was too late. A massive surge of energy ripped through the cannon. The entire war fortress shuddered. Its weapons overloaded. Its systems crashed. A glowing wave of light blasted outward, harmless to Earth, but deadly to the fortress itself. On the ground, millions watched the fortress burn from the inside. A giant flower of blue fire opened in the sky. Then the war fortress collapsed into the breach and vanished. Earth was safe. The hunters were gone. And the galaxy would never forget what happened. When the sky finally grew quiet, refugees fell to their knees, crying in relief. Humans hugged them, lifting them up. Emma smiled at the alien child she saved on the first day. "See," she whispered. You are safe now. Because of humans, the child said softly. No, Emma answered. Because of all of us. News channels repeated one line across the world. Earth changed the galaxy today, not with power, but with heart. The Empire wanted Earth to be cruel. But humanity chose compassion. And compassion won.